The views expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect the views of the hosts and collaborators of the Sippin Cosmos podcast. Any opinions are not intended to malign any religion, organization, individual, company, or group of any kind. Do you have any tattoos?
I do not have tattoos. I died in Auschwitz in my last lifetime. So the thought of having a tattoo is not something I want to do.
Interesting. Welcome to another episode of Sippin Cosmos. I'm your paranormal nerd, Ashley.
I'm your skeptic, Lane.
And I am somewhere in between. I am Sarah.
Today is a very exciting episode because we have in the studio Stephanie Riseley. Am I saying that right?
You are indeed.
Okay, good. It's not too hard, but you never know. She is a hypnotherapist extraordinaire. She does past life regression therapy. And she actually studied under Dr. Brian Weiss. So we're going to hear all about Stephanie's work. She's also the writer of a book, Love from Both Sides, a true story of soul survival and sacred sexuality.
And reincarnation. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. We're going to just republish that. Reincarnation. So because it's about my husband dying in my arms, coming back as he's dead, okay, and then coming back chatting to me, and then talking from the in-between, and also he had wild sex with me while he's dead, okay, and talking about the process of what happens after you die. And he kept saying to me, if this were not me, and he was a lawyer, a rocket scientist, a wild man from Mendocino, and many different things. But he just said, I would think that you were crazy. You are not crazy. This is me. This is wild. I might be dead, but I'm not gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, we have a skeptic here.
Oh, he can be as skeptical as he wants. He's cute.
I'm
he's got turquoise hair.
Stephanie's going to try to steal you away from me by the end of this episode. I feel it.
She's either going to steal you or roast you.
I'm still extremely skeptical.
No, you can be skeptical. Wait till you die. And then you'll go, oh my God, they were right all the time.
I have a question for you. How many skeptics do you encounter every single day?
What do you mean? How many? I encounter none, zero zip, because I have a very specific job. People
circle that you interact.
No. I mean, people come. What do you think? I walk out in the world and say, hello, can I do a past life regression on you? No.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, and first of all, it's COVID, so we haven't been walking out in the world.
Yes.
Right.
And I only see 3 people a day, and those 3 people are completely vetted by me. I mean, if I don't like something about someone, if I get a feeling that this isn't a good fit, I'll just say, thank you very much. I mean, I talked to, what was a sort of a darling little girl this afternoon, whenever that was. And she was in the military. And then I kind of said, and have you been vaccinated or something like that? She said, oh, I wouldn't do that. And I went, oh. And then I said, and so you voted for Donald Trump? Oh, yeah, he was great. And I said, and QAnon? And he goes, yeah, I'm QAnon. I go, you know what? This is not going to work between us, but I know you will find the right fit for you.
So this QAnon person wanted a past life regression?
Yeah.
Wow.
See, I find that very interesting. So you wouldn't want to find out why that person is the way they are?
Honey,
Or
I don't
help them potentially see another perspective, or
it's not, really my life. I'm 73 years old. I am not, I just,
you're like, no, thank you.
I don't have that much time.
No, I understand.
I mean, I want to help people who I want to help. I mean, I want to help. Well, the reason I came with you guys, because you're the right age, you're cute, and I care about young people being able to do what they want to do and who are brave and go out into the world. So I only have so much time in my life. And so I work with people I like. That's why I don't encounter skeptics, because people come to me who are on the same wavelength. So, most of the people who come to me, they find a lot of healing from the regression therapy, but it's really the deep dive into their own subconscious minds and going back and uncovering, traumas
in their current life, right?
on their current life. Exactly. So because we were all children once, and when we were children, you do things that are wrong and you get shamed for it. Or I deal with so much sexual abuse. Oh, people, let's make sex fun for people, because this craziness with people abusing other people, especially older people abusing children. I mean, anyway, that's a big part of what I do is, helping people who have been, because when you abuse someone sexually, it is, you're getting them at the chakra. It's what we would call the root chakra. But there's a wonderful book called Pussy, and I think I should send you that. I told you about that.
Yeah.
And she's all into goddess worshiping, and I'm all into goddess worshiping. I read that, and this was the girl who wanted to be a nun. Okay. And it made so much sense. So,
You wanted to be a nun?
yes, because I've had so many lives as nuns. I've had too many
Oh.
lives as nuns. When I meet a friend and I look at them and I go, oh, I think we were nuns together. Luckily we're not.
So let's go back to your book, though. I want to start.
Okay.
So,
All right.
well, so you're saying you use hypnotherapy as a tool to just help people work through certain traumas in their own current lives, but you also regress them back to past lives.
I do. On the third session.
You
Max
require
had-
5, right? At least, at the minimum. Yeah.
And then that's the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in your book, I want to go back to your book for a minute, because you talk about sacred sexuality and getting visits from your late husband after he had passed. And first of all, I want to know, had you had paranormal experiences with spiritual energy before this, or this was the first time you were, exposed to that?
No, I died when I was about 19. So that when you die,
So you had a near-death experience.
I did. I had a near-death experience. So as soon as that happens, they've actually done the brain scans of people. You're different. It's because dying is fun. I mean, I'm going to tell you.
Well, everyone says they wish they could stay.
Yeah, but the actual process for me, I mean, I was so sick and I was so depressed and I was so unhappy. And I came from, I had 2 wonderful parents who were both psychopaths. I love them dearly. No. I mean that seriously. My mother was a war nurse. My father was a paratrooper jumping into the islands in the Pacific.
Wow.
In their this lifetime, right?
Yeah.
So how did you die?
I literally was sitting in a room, couldn't breathe, and my parents, because I'd had to come back to the house I lived in, and because I got so sick, and suddenly I looked so sick. One of my mother's friends said, "We got to get her to the hospital." By the time they got me to the hospital, I had this much room to breathe in my lung because I saw the X-rays, and I had been an X-ray technician, and it was like I was in so much pain. And I just closed my eyes, and suddenly it was like I was holding on to a bar, and I let go and I slid. And it was the sliding was, I knew at that moment, I knew I was dying. And it was like, oh, good, I'm out of this. And then suddenly, it was like, not so fast, bitch, because they grabbed me by the back of the neck and they threw me back in this very pain-filled body. And then, because I was in so much pain. And then the feeling was, I guess I have to stay. So
And
anyway.
then since then, you had experiences with the other realms?
Well, I mean, it's because that happened. And in the 60s, there was a medium. Max asked me about a medium that was amazing. All the people in that era, I started hanging out with my best friend, who was my wife in my past life, it turns out. Because you can always, it's like when you're really attracted to somebody and you don't know why, that's a past life connection.
So how did you come to the understanding that she was your wife in a past life?
Well, I didn't at that point. When I was 15, I met her, and we just connected, and we just did everything together. And So much so that we never went out with guys. I mean, we just Saturday night and Friday and Saturday night, we hung, and neither of us were gay. But it was like, I remember thinking, because we laughed all the time, and it was the 60s in LA, and you could get away with so much shit. I mean,
Sounds amazing.
I am so sorry, kids, now, because you don't get away with anything. But the stuff we got away with, oh man. But so, and we just had so much fun. And then she just was an amazing friend. And then she was my wife in my past life. And I know that because I've done past life regressions. And then when I was at Disney, I was a writer at Disney, and there was this very funny girl sitting at the front. And I just kind of turned around and went, okay, I love this girl. I have to go meet this girl. And that girl, who was my best friend, was my daughter in my past life.
So when did you start regressing back to past lives? You studied with Brian Weiss, you studied with other, hypnotherapists. Do you regress yourself?
No, but you have to, okay, when I was 3, I would have these recurring dreams of I was this gigantic doctor, and I had on, the long white coat. I was 3, but I was a big baby because that was myself then. But I was bossing everyone around. Now, I was bossing everyone around in a 1917 hospital, and so I just, those were recurring dreams. Well, when my husband died, he came back and he said, "You know how I used to say, you were so much more Jewish than I am. I'm not Jewish. I'm Yeshiksa." He said, "And you're just this Shiksa." And he said, it turns out you are more Jewish than I am. And then he said, "You were Jewish in your direct past life. It's a very unhappy situation. I don't want to show it to you now. I don't want you to see it. But I have been surrounded by people from Auschwitz, and in high school, one of my good friend's parents were out of Auschwitz, and both of them survived and met in a relocation camp in Germany. And then they had 3 children. 2 of them they had in that relocation camp, and then they moved to Los Angeles. And so Sam was a good friend, but his mother was so interesting to me because she would sit down and just talk to me about the war, which was fresh in her mind, and God knows why. I mean, of course, because she had post-traumatic stress disorder. And so, but it was like, as she's talking, I knew everything she was saying, and I saw the scenes. So, and then when Dan died, then I saw more. And then I just have had a 9-year relationship with the person who essentially got me killed in that past lifetime. So you can
Dan?
No, the
Okay.
person who got me killed in that lifetime was a German showgirl. Okay, because I was super, super rich. I was a guy, and I was part of a family called the Rothschilds. You might not have heard of the Rothschilds, but they're a
Right.
banking family. And
Absolutely.
so my mother was a Rothschild, and she wanted me to be a doctor because
Didn't Trump's daughter marry a Rothschild, or is he
No.
not a
no,
Rothschild?
he's not a Rothschild.
Okay. Okay.
They wish.
Okay.
Trump's daughter. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
anyway,
okay.
so but anyway, so in that lifetime, I was super wealthy and super entitled and super narcissistic, and I had a wonderful wife who was so good to me. That was my best friend in high school, and I was having an affair with a German showgirl, and the German showgirl. When I told her that we were going to go to Paris for the weekend, but I'd already bought a place on Fifth Avenue, which is what German Jews did, and I was just going to go to. She outed me to the SS, and we all died in Auschwitz.
And that was your most recent past life.
Yeah, that's the most recent past life, but all time is simultaneous, so it doesn't, anyway.
Right.
I
Yeah.
have a question
Yeah.
from
Mhm.
one of our viewers.
We have a viewer?
Yeah, this thing is moving. If I ever am looking down here, it's because everyone is loving you. By the way,
Yeah.
She's not texting.
Oh,
She's
no,
just,
I'm not texting.
Yeah.
It's because this thing is popping up with so much.
What does TikTok say?
Please ask her if this is the first life where she's been conscious of her past lives.
Oh, what a great question.
That is a great
is.
one.
It is a good question.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know because I'm only in this lifetime.
Right.
I'm just in this lifetime. And in this lifetime, I have to be Stephanie in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And you haven't regressed to a past life where you were remembering other past lives. That would be like inception of past lives.
The first real regression I did happened in the 70s when I was just listening to a show about past lives. And it was a radio show. And I was lying down on my couch in New York, and I closed my eyes, and suddenly it was so vivid. I was an angry 16-year-old marching behind a camel's butt, and the camel was so decorated, and I was decorated, and it was a Bedouin, and I was so angry because I knew I was being, essentially sold or, to somebody to get married to. And I'm a 16-year-old, but I have to do it because my dad's the chieftain and it's my job and my mother'd kill me. And, I'm a 16-year-old. And we get to this amazing place. I mean, so beautiful, just draped with gorgeous silks and and there's music and there's dancing and I'm the star because I'm beautiful. I like being beautiful in my life. So that was helpful. And suddenly there's this terrified guy standing in front of me, all probably 20 years old, as terrified as I am. We're looking into each other's eyes. We know we have to get married. And I don't know, the next scene, we're having wild, wonderful sex. And we are so laughing and fun. And then I have 5 kids. And then I'm no longer a Bedouin. And I see specifically these dwellings that are on the side of, they're ancient dwellings on the side of a hill. And I'm looking out, and it's a beautiful day, but my kids are driving me nuts. So it's like, and I, the feeling tone from the Stephanie to that woman was, oh, please enjoy that life. But that's not all there is to it. I mean, when I do a past life regression, I call one, the first regression is the Pancake Progression. I go, why did you choose the family that you were born into? And then you'll see one of the dreary little lives of your life. You're a pig farmer and Chinese. It's the Chinese pig farmer lives. Okay, we all have thousands of those. Okay, because you have thousands of lives.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, why don't I ever hear about past lives that were like CPAs, like accountants, just boring lives?
Okay, yeah, you should be with one of my clients, with my clients who are these struggling single Black females. Okay, because man, we go back and there they are. They are bored to death. They're a struggling alcoholic lawyer going from New York into Scarsdale, and they're drinking and they're bored. And then and she looks at that life and she goes, "Oh my!" And I love it when I have my Black clients because they look at their feet. I go, they. Go, hold out your hand. He goes, I'm white? Oh my God, I'm white? I'm a white person? Yeah, you're a white person.
Wow.
That's what I was saying. We've all been male. We've all been female. We've all been black, white, every color under the sun.
But how do we know that?
Yeah, because we are, there's no here. I mean, study physics. I dated a rocket scientist for 5 years. He had no problem with what I did. Because, there's no here anyway, because we're all so stuck with the 5 senses that we have. And if we are, and that's the only way we can literally experience this reality. There's so much more going on in this room than we have when we have any idea of. If we could see molecules, we could see, the nitrogen in the air and the whatever's going on in the air. But if you were a snake, okay, you would be able to stick your tongue out and know what the barometric pressure was. If you were a dog, you'd be able to know when everybody been doing lately. If you were a bee, a bumblebee, you'd have 56 different little, like a crystal. and then you'd be able to see pollen that you'd want to go to. So everybody, we're very, very limited as humans. To be humans, we had to drop kick our amazing animal, a lot of our amazing animal attributes to get language, because 40% of our brain is devoted to talking, communication, words. I mean, that's why we rule the planet. You'll notice there's not another species who rules the planet and has damaged the planet as much as we have.
It's true for sure.
Yeah, no, we are
But I
a
just feel
nightmare
like
for my planet.
I just accept that I'm a limited being.
No, you are a limited being, and I love you for it.
So, do you believe that we've been other animals in
we have
past
been
lives?
other animals.
Cats, dogs.
I've got a lot of them, but my favorite one is from a client I saw maybe 10 years ago, something like that. She was 65 at the time, and we're the same age, so 13 years ago. She had been a waitress at Norm's on La Cienega.
Love Norm's.
Okay. She had been there for 40 years by this time, and her direct boss, who'd been there only for 10 years or 20 years or something, was giving her a lot of trouble. And so she came in, she said, I want to do a regression. I want my most powerful life. And I said, we're going to give you your most powerful life. And so we take her down, and I said, this is your most powerful. I said, look at your feet. She said, I'm a dinosaur.
Whoa.
I own this land. And I said, get into that dinosaur feeling. She said, I'm so heavy, and I got this beautiful neck. I love my body. I'm going, wow. And I said, what's going on? She said, there's another dinosaur over there. It's my sister.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And then, so
that's the first I've heard of dinosaur.
Okay,
so
no, I do outer space, but hold on.
Right.
Let me tell you what happened.
Yeah.
So it's not what happened then. I said, now you feel that dinosaur. She went into her boss as her dinosaur self, and she didn't take shit. She walked in there. She said, this is what I do. This is what I need. And she said, he just shook. He had never seen me so fierce. Yeah, she took her. I mean, she really needed to
take her power.
She did, and she was beautiful, and such a life.
Dinosaur energy. So, how did your husband first get in contact with you after he passed? How did that happen? Was it a dream?
No, it wasn't a dream. It was he was trying. Okay, so all right, so we're at Kaiser, and I'm in bed with him because I'm in complete denial about the fact that he could die. He was a he was a nuclear scientist, and he had tritium poisoning, which is you get from atomic bombs. But so anyway, I'm sitting there with my hand on his heart. I'm lying there next to him, and I'm just listening and just going, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. You're going to get through this. We're going to get you better. Because I had systemic lupus when I was 19. That's why I died, because I had pericarditis, bilateral lung effusion, and I got myself well. So I think that everybody can get themselves well, but that's not true. So anyway, I have my hand on his heart, and then his heart stopped beating. And then his energy just whipped through me and said, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. I went, what? Are you Martin Luther King already? I mean, what? No, you can't be free. Get back in here. Get back. No. And I just totally went into shock.
What did that feel like? Did it feel like magnetic?
It's like it's a whoosh. But he went straight into his son, who's still 28 years old at the time, standing there. And he said to his son, John, I'm not dead. I mean, I'm dead, but I'm here. This is wild. And John is standing there going, oh God. And then
was this audible, or was it just more of a
No,
feeling?
you hear it. No, you hear it. You hear the sound, you hear the voice. You hear it in your head. I mean, they're talking to you in your head.
Right.
It's not out there. But at one point, he was able to make himself so that he could lie next to me, which was really weird. For all of you unmarried people out there, I was 42. I was terminally unmarried. I would never get married. And everybody would look at me and go, gee, you're so pretty. I wonder why you're not married. Well, it was because I'm a bitch. I mean, what do I want to say? No, I mean, but it was because when we were, okay, so you are destined, I don't like the word destined, but I was planned. I literally, he'd asked for me to come in. Now, I had just died in Auschwitz and I didn't really want to do another tour down here. But I said, okay, fine. I love him. We're always buddies together. Usually I'm a guy. Okay. I know this will be surprising to you guys, but I have a lot of male energy. But,
I think I was too.
It depends. They have a good run with it, but it's good being a girl. Okay, yeah, we're having a good show. Okay,
sometimes.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We have. This is our 100 years, babe.
This is our time.
This is our time. Okay, we gotta get the planet in order.
Mm-hmm.
This male energy has ruined my planet. Okay, and this is my planet. I love this planet. I liked being here. The other planets are okay, but this is the shit planet. I mean, this is the best planet. And look at how beautiful our planet is. Have you ever seen it have you ever gone to the Hubble, to the IMAX and seen our planet?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Except for all the space junk that's out there floating around.
We're going to do something about that planet. But anyway, so
you've remembered other lives on other planets?
I haven't remembered other lives on other planets, but I have people.
That you regress.
That I have regressed. Yeah.
What have they said about other planets?
Well, it depends on they're on those other planets, and there's my favorite planet is the fish planet. People. I mean it's
a planet of fish.
It's a planet of water that most of it's like everybody's kind of like a dolphin.
Whoa.
Only they have more fun than dolphins because they have a structured situation and they do nothing but philosophize, have sex, have fun. They do drugs there, just like they do here. You know, the dolphins do drugs.
I do a lot of research on alien life. I've never heard of a dolphin planet. So in your book, you talk about him coming back to you, his spirit coming back to you. Did you have sex with a ghost?
Yeah. No, I did.
To put it frankly.
Yeah. No, you can have wild sex with ghosts. I mean, I was actually on a TV show called, Sex with Ghosts in the travel. It's someplace running around. They did that a while ago. It was a big TV show.
So how do you explain sexual energy without a body? Like why sex if there's no body?
Well, it doesn't have to be a body. There's a place there's the University of Wisconsin does the most interesting sexual research ever done. And I think it's because they've got all these undergraduates. It's so cold. They want to make some money. They go down to the basement. Okay.
And they study sex.
And well, they research sex. It's only been in the last 15 years when women have been in places of science that literally women's sexuality has been studied. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And women's sexuality is so different from male sexuality. When a woman has an orgasm, our brains open in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different places, flooding our brain with oxytocin, which is the precursor for serotonin. And then if we can keep those guys in bed and we can hug them, then we get dopamine. Their little brain, opens in one little place, tiny little place.
I have a very complex brain.
Little place. They get that tiny little orgasm, poof. Yeah. And then this other strike comes in. And then they fall asleep. And as I always say to my clients.
That does happen a lot to me.
All right, so male and female sexuality is different.
Very different.
But again, if you don't have a body, why is there sexual energy involved?
Because he could get into my body and go to my 8,000 receptors in my pussy.
Why do that as a ghost? You can travel to any dimension.
Because he wanted to come and love me.
Okay.
Because sex is love.
Yeah.
It's sacred. It's love. It was energy.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What is your main goal? The main thing that you would want to spread to people that maybe don't believe in life after death? Like what do you?
No, I don't have to talk to anybody. Don't. believe what you want.
Yeah.
Like my QAnon lady today. If you see my Yelps, all my bad Yelps are from people who I didn't want to work with because they, voted for Donald Trump. And Donald Trump to me is Hitler. I mean, literally, he had
Do you think he was in a past life?
I don't want to say that, but he was certainly trying to overturn my country on, January 6th was as scary a thing has ever happened. When Donald Trump was elected, I went haywire.
So how does hypnotherapy work with smaller things? Like you say, you use hypnotherapy to get people to stop, a bad habit, smoking or eating junk food or whatever it is.
Junk food. Jesus God, there's a blog on one of my last blogs. My very last blog is about junk food and how addictive it is, and it's purposely addictive. It's just as addictive as drugs. When the tobacco companies were brought up short about creating this horrible addiction that kills hundreds of thousands of people a year, they immediately went and bought food companies, and then they bought diet companies. So they're producing the Doritos and the Oreos they make, and they hire the best and the brightest biochemists that they can, so that they can hack the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd known this for years because of the research I do, but because I don't eat junk food. But when you do eat junk food, your brain screams out, "I need another one of those now."
So how do you use hypnotherapy to rewire the brain? Is it mantras or just...
No, it's neuroscience. Literally it's neuroscience. I explain the brain. It takes about an hour for me to explain what I'm about to do. And then I give them techniques based on neuroscience.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not airy-fairy, but I get, so I have a lot of doctors that are my clients. I have a lot of psychiatrists who are my clients. I have one psychiatrist who looked at me and she said, "That is amazing. Why don't they teach that why didn't they teach me that in medical school?" I said, "Because they only teach you drugs in medical school. They teach you the DSM." Because I worked for 5 years at the Neuropsychiatric Institute doing the primary research that became what they call the DSM-3 revised, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual. And it's how, and that is funded by the drug companies to get people a diagnosis, so that then they can go, "Oh, this diagnosis, we're going to give you a Prozac."
Pretty fucked up, honestly.
Well, you want the book about this? The book about this is really fucked up because it's about how the Sackler family has profited off of the millions of people who've already died of Oxycontin abuse.
So you can actually get someone to stop eating junk food through hypnosis?
Yeah.
And how long does that take?
Sarah's sign me up.
How many sessions? To do anything?
I just always ask. I ask people. I just don't want to. I don't do hit and run anything. So I don't want to work with people who do hit and run stuff. Go to somebody else.
Right. So it's over.
No, it's just I have to know who I'm dealing with. So first session. So what happens? I work in chunks of 5 sessions. I really need at least 5 sessions because I never know what's going to be happening in the regression. In a regression, I can uncover some really, shameful things. Last week I had a client who we went to a regression and I said, "What's happening?" Now, this is a woman who's been sexually abused by her father. Okay. And that's why talking therapy is so toxic, because you have to talk again and again and again and again. One of the most dramatic healings that I had ever had was with somebody who, and tune off if you don't want to hear a horrible story, because, but this gorgeous 27-year-old came in a while ago, and she, gorgeous long hair, and I think she was in the cosmetics business, and she just told me the story of her life was when her father was murdered when she was 7, and And they went in and they got his computer and they found out that he was a child pornographer, and my client was his star. And so there were pictures of her in all kinds of diabolic, bad things. And so they immediately took her away from her drug addict mom, and they took her into child services. And again and again and again and again, these people would prod her. Show us a picture. What did he do? Show us some more. What did he do? And what did he do? And what did he do? It's like that poor...
You're re-traumatizing yourself
it's like
every time.
Yeah. It's like, did you see the Woody Allen
I
thing?
was just thinking that they made her go through
again
it
and again and again. And how many times do you want me to tell you this?
Yeah.
So she came into me. I said, I don't do talking therapy. I don't. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what we're going to do here. Okay. So, but when we got to her regression, I said, look at your feet. And she said, I have black shiny shoes on and I'm happy to it because I'm Irish. She said, I'm like Jimmy Cagney. and she said, I'm wearing a really expensive suit and it's tight. I'm a boxer. But I'm a stockbroker. And I said, okay, fine, go. And she's Irish, and we get through that, and it's New York. And I said, go find your wife. And they live on Park Avenue. And she said, I said, and she said, she bugs me. I said, why does she bug you? Because she can't do anything right. I said, okay, let's go find her. I said, turn her around. And then she was quiet. I said, who's your wife? She said, it's my father. I said, okay, that's your father. Okay. So next scene, I said, what's happening now? She said, she said, I forget what her name was in that thing, Dolores, let's call her Dolores. I'm beating Dolores up. I said, why are you beating Dolores up? Because she cooked my dinner wrong. Okay, next event. What's happening now? She said, Dolores is dying. I said, why is Dolores dying? Because she knows I will never love her. Okay. And then I say, next event, and it's 1929. I said, what's happening now? He said, I've lost all my money. He's sitting in a bar. He can see the lights going on, and nobody likes me, and I hate myself. And I said, next event, he said, I put a gun to my head. I'm dead. And then we go to the in-between. Because I get people to look back on that life. What did you learn in that life? Well, that was a life. He goes to the in-between. He's not greeted well. And then I said, find your guide. And he said, and he said, oh, my God, she said, because it's back to the girl, it's my father. Her father was her guide. And I said, what did you need to learn? Why did you have to learn this lifetime? She said, to learn what it felt like to be totally betrayed by someone you loved unconditionally. Now, I'm not saying that is what all, all this stuff. But for her, it was freeing. It was totally freeing. She let it go. And for the naysayers who go, well, how about if they made it up? I don't know. I don't care. If it's a way you can let it
Release,
go.
yeah.
Make peace with it. It doesn't matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not invested.
Mm-hmm.
When people come to me, they go, well, I don't believe in past life regressions. And, I go, well, okay, fine. I've had some amazing people who don't believe in past life regressions see amazing things when they just say, okay, well, let's try it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if it has a positive impact on the person, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. So you just want to...
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
What's the craziest past life story that's come to mind? The dolphin? Is it the dolphin
No.
world?
I mean, that one's pretty wild.
No, but it would be from the same doctor who had the dolphin. Okay, who...
Wow, he had crazy lives.
Oh, this man is a what is he? He's a oncologist, hematologist. Okay, he's an oncologist, hematologist at Cedars. He first came to me because his wife wouldn't go into the kitchen because there were knives in the kitchen. Now, he loved his wife. And this is a blog. I've written this up as a blog on my website someplace. And so I worked with Susie, and we found amazing lives, and the two of them were always connected, and we healed her fear of knives. So we did a bunch of regressions, but this one, I said, look at your feet, and suddenly this sweet Scottish guy goes, I don't have feet. I went, okay, you don't have feet. Okay, what do you have? He said, I'm a console. I said, you're a console. Okay, great, you're a console. And look around, where are you? He said, where I always am. And I said, okay, Brian, where are you always? He said, in my spaceship. I said, you're in your spaceship. You're a console. I said, how old are you? He said, I don't know how old I am. They harvested my brain. They've stuck me in this console. I don't know. I must be 900 years old now, I think. I don't know. And I said, what are you doing now? He said, what I'm always doing. I have to head back to Earth to get the people who won't come with us.
So this is the same guy who had the dolphin past life too?
Mm-hmm.
So
he's a doctor.
Wow.
He's an oncologist, hematologist who deals with death all the time.
Wow. Well, what did he mean by console?
A console. He's a part of a computer.
Like the dashboard on the spaceship.
Wow. And that had a consciousness?
It was a consciousness that they harvested from his brain.
That is the weirdest story.
Disturbing.
That checks off the box. The weirdest past life. I can't even like
I wasn't
wrap my
expecting
head
that.
around.
I wasn't expecting
So I was
Yeah.
looking on your website, Stephanie, and there's a quote that, you could uncover why you chose your circumstances in your current life.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain?
Okay. In the in-between, which is, the in-between, there's an opportunity to really look at what you want to develop, what part of your life path, what haven't you developed? I mean, okay, I'll just give you something that happened Saturday, which was so disturbing to my client because she's a beautiful scientist who's got this amazing idea and is trying to get this big, amazing business off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted, what was she supposed to learn in that lifetime? But immediately we went back, and suddenly her hand went up, her leg went out, and then she went like, ah. And then she's talking to me as I said, do you have a name? She said, they won't give me a name. I'm an it. And then she's in this asylum, and, she's obviously incredibly handicapped. And, why do you choose a life like that? Because I feel that I'm the Purple Soul Reclamation Center. So if you're an adventurous soul, those are my purple souls. There's a gradation of souls. There's my white baby souls. They have to have the Beverly Hills houses. They have to have the jewelry. They have to have this. They have to do that. They have to show off all the time. Okay. And then there's the second set. Those are the healers. Those are the this. Then there's a third set. Then there's this. And then there's that. Then there's the blue people. Like we are like worker bees. Okay. Then there's the purple people. And that's...
Is that the highest level?
Well, it's not the highest level. That's what they do. Is
willing to take on a hard life?
No. They're not. No. Not always. Not always. Elon Musk. Okay. They rock it, but they sometimes want to challenge themselves physically. Now, what can you do in a body like that? I don't know. I mean, you're teaching other people to love, to have compassion. Oh, that's what she needed to learn. That was it. It just came to it. I just saw the word compassion. That's what she needed to learn in that lifetime, because most of her lives, I mean, she's a gorgeous French woman, and that's another thing. Yeah. So, there's a lot of souls that like coming in good looking. Now, if you come in, I like to be good looking, but I do the life where I shared with my husband, Dan, I was an ugly French nun. And I was. I was so ugly. The only thing they could do with me is put
Isn't
me in
that
a convent.
subjective? Isn't that subjective?
No, you can
ugly?
tell when someone's ugly.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Come on.
Let's not be
I'm
so.
with Stephanie here. You
Yeah.
can tell when someone's ugly. Like,
Objectively ugly.
yeah.
I was ugly, but I was good. I was good. And then my husband in that lifetime was Isabella, the town slut. And so they brought Isabella
Oh.
into the convent, and then she was in her 20s. I was in my 40s. And, you know, she was so sexy. She was trying to seduce me, but I wasn't having any of it.
Oh my
But I loved her so much, and she loved me. And when I died, you know, she'd become a good nun. And all she wanted to do was to have a male and female life with me. And that's what this life was supposed to be about. So this was the answer to that life.
So is every life chosen? Is every single being, have they chosen that life in the in-between?
I don't know.
In your opinion?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't, you know, I know what I know.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to ask people, but I know I have a lot of Chinese lives because I am fascinated every time. Netflix, they turn on the Chinese stuff, I'm there.
That's like Ashley with Egypt. She
Yeah.
loves
Oh,
Egypt.
well, if
I
yeah,
love
no, yeah.
Egypt.
So if you know, you've got any place that when I was in Rome in 1966 as a 19-year-old, I literally walked down the street and wanted to pound on this door because I lived there. And then years later, when I went to Europe again, I literally, that lifetime, I was friends with Galileo. I mean, because by that time I'd already, it was 2006 when I was in Florence, and I went, and then I literally was with the rocket scientist who was wearing bad shoes. I said, Dennis, we're going this way, and we went up and up and up and up and up and up. We were across the Arno, and then suddenly I was standing in front of a doorway that I'd gotten to, and it said the home of Galileo. You know?
Wow.
You know, so you know this stuff, yeah.
So real quick,
Yeah.
to piggyback off of Lane's question,
Uh-huh.
in your book, you talk about how your husband chose to reincarnate as an African girl.
Mm-hmm. So he chose this, but he didn't stay long there. He died
Oh, how do you know that?
because he came back to tell me.
And then has he gone back?
No, I just said, enough of you. He was very funny. He came back on, because while he was in utero, he would be talking to me. And that was really hard and weird. And then he came back right before he was born on Valentine's Day, and he said, put the pin in your hand. And then he drew this big penis with a big heart next to it. He goes, I miss you.
Oh my gosh. As a baby?
As inside. Yeah, but he wasn't happy. He said, these people are crazy. He said they lie to each other. They're noisy. They're screaming. I should have stayed being a Jewish guy.
I like being a Jewish guy.
Because I was going to ask if you've tried to meet his new incarnation, but
Oh, good God,
but
no.
she
I
died.
had, no. I'm not speaking to him.
Oh,
I'm
so
not
now you're
speaking.
not.
Hello. He left me $180,000 in debt, no insurance, no retirement. And when I got...
wouldn't speak to him either. Does TikTok or do you guys have any other questions before we say goodbye to Stephanie?
No, I think I've pretty much asked everything I wanted to.
And I do think we only scratched the surface.
Yeah. Seriously.
Thank you so much for
You're
being
welcome.
here,
You're
Stephanie.
welcome.
It was a pleasure.
Seriously.
It was a trip.
Learned a
Thank
lot.
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's a different perspective, right?
for
For
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching, listening, TikToking, streaming, commenting, liking, subscribing, all of the above. We'll
Yeah,
see you next
You have
time.
to subscribe.
Bye.
Right. You need subscribers.
We do.
You do.
Yeah.
Listen to Stephanie.
Look, they need
We-
marketing.
We need it.
Give it to us.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.